And hello, fellow Taker Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks. And today we're gonna have a video that's a little bit different than normal. It's going to be more of a reminiscing kind of video about the early beginnings of me playing this game and learning this game from super unicoms that were super unicoms really fast in this game. And not because they learned, but because they were just good at the game. And I wasn't one of those. I was more of the ones that had to learn the strategies, had to figure out how to be bad first, then somewhat better, then good, then very good, then super good, until the point that I became a unicom. But it was a long journey. Now, some of the guys that started playing the game early, they didn't have to go through all this pain that I went through in order to become good at this game. It took years for me to do so, to be honest. These guys knew how to play the game well right from the beginning. Well, if not from the actual very beginning, very close to the beginning of the existence of this game. So, what am I talking about here? Space, what are you talking about? Get to the point. What is going on? What's the point of this video? Well, in this game, I'm with a player with gamertag Kellen. Now, who is Kellen? He is simply one of the best players in the game. A very good player. A very rounded player. Player that was good at the game right from the get-go. Right from the beginning when this game came out. Now he's one of the veterans of the game. But before, he wasn't a veteran at the game and he was still very good at it. Now when we go back to those times, we're talking about probably 5-6 years ago when Clan 7F existed. There were some amazing players, absolutely amazing players in that clan. And most of these players are no longer in the game. However, at the time when I was learning the game, I would sub to their YouTube channels and I would watch their videos religiously, trying to figure out the tricks, positions, what they do, how do they position strategically in order to get advantage in the game. These were the guys that I was learning from. As a matter of fact, some of these guys' YouTube channels still exist. Actually, I think Kellen's channel is still up there somewhere, but he doesn't post anything anymore. Another guy that I closely followed from Clan 7F was Just an Ace, and I'm still sub to his channel after so many years, yet he doesn't post much on his channel anymore, but there's still content there, and very good content. Then there's Parko. Parko is another one of those players that was absolutely spectacular. And I'm actually still sub to his channel as well. He doesn't post anymore either, but there are still games on his channel that are absolutely spectacular and really fun to watch. So every once in a while, I would go back to their channels just to check out certain things they did on certain maps. And I always get my answer. And that's why I think these guys have to be acknowledged. You know, I mean, nowadays with everything changing, the game changing, players leaving the game, it would be actually nice to have some of these players back, which is probably never gonna happen. Anyway, I'm drifting a little bit here, guys. The point of this video, I am in a game with Kellen in my Centurion Action X. And when I saw him on my team early in game, I knew exactly what I had to do. So if he would be spotting on this map, I would be getting myself in a position to fire. But since he decided to support with his bat shot instead of spot, I knew what my role was. And I knew he wouldn't let me down. I knew that if I get myself in good positions to spot, he's going to shoot the targets that I will spot. Now, we were not in chat, we weren't speaking in the game, we were not in a platoon, yet I knew how to play off of him, and I'm sure he knew how to play off of me. Why? In my case, experience and knowledge of the map. In his case, knowledge of the game. But to be honest, we all know, especially the players that are experienced and good at the game, they know what the important positions on this map are. And the most important position on this map is central location. And what you saw me do here early was come into the middle, try to spot a cross to see if we can spot anyone crossing and we can get early shots of damage. Now, once we cleaned the city, we were able to isolate one area of the map and focus on the other. And that's exactly what we did here. Now is the hard part. The hard part is dig these guys out from 1 and 2 lanes. And that's the way the meta has been lately, on this map anyway. It seems like the team that spawns on the south side decides to hold the 1 and 2 line, and they decide not to progress any further, which is really strange. But to be honest, it is not as strange as you would think, because why would you want to go to the city if no one else is going into the city? If most of your team pushes up north to C1, for instance, why would you want to go to the city by yourself? You can use that ridge line that's at 1 line and use that ridge line at the 2 line to spot across. I know you're losing control of the map, but in certain situations you have to play off of your team, right? And in this situation, most of the opposition decided to play off of their team and not to make stupid decisions. But where's the problem now? So the problem now is that they are isolated at 1 and 2 line, meaning that we have full control of the map, which gives me flexibility to relocate from one area of the map to another. And with Centurion AX, that tank is absolutely fantastic. I love this tank like there's no tomorrow. Actually, I prefer this tank over FV4202 because of the heat rounds that it has, and they're very useful in certain situations. But what I try to say, it gives me flexibility to relocate because we have control of the map. Now I get spotted over here. We're gonna have to turn around because I don't know what else is lurking on G1, and they probably could shoot me from G1. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something completely different. Since I'm getting spotted across the 2 line, I decided to scoot right through the middle into the area that is very important. Now pay attention here, guys, because this area here is fantastic for spotting, and I will show you a game right after this also in my Centurion Action X, where you will see how much assisted damage I've done from this position. Now this one is slightly different because I'm trying to be more aggressive and spot these guys right at H1. That's why I came here, and I also wanted to get rid of the RD, but I didn't know that RD is already relocated, unfortunately. But I wanted to spot to see what's going on there. And now they're in a corner. As you already noticed, the game is over. Like, it's over. Because, as I said earlier, no control of the map. And if you begin on a south spawn, and your team actually only controls 1 and 2 line, the best thing to do is push up that 1 line really hard. Really hard. 1 and 2 line really hard. Get into that dip at A2. And from there, you can spot all the way across. That's one viable play. Now there's also a dip on the B line, so if you're in a light tank, you can scoot down the B line and stay below the guns of the opposition in order to spot across the map. That's a very viable play as well if you spawn just like the opposition in this game, and you will have a chance to win the game. But opposition team didn't do it, and we were able to clean up and take advantage of the fact that they didn't move up and they were stuck in the corner of the map. And that's what good players will do. Good players will exploit those positions, and good players will exploit those situations. As you notice, we finished on top of the team with 7k combined damage. Why? Because Kellen was shooting. He finished in a second spot with 5k damage, over 5k damage. Not much assisted because he was shooting in this game. And I just had to send him a message at the end, because not often that I see him or any of the original players back in the game. And I thoroughly enjoyed playing with him, so I had to send him a message and just say, GG bud. Alright, now we're gonna show you the second game from the same spawn and exactly how I play on this map in a random game, which is going to be very similar to what you've seen in the first game. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna get ourselves in a central position where we can spot south side of the map and all of the players crossing down the K line to town. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to spot them crossing. If they're crossing, we're gonna put shots into them, and then we're gonna probe a little bit further to see if we can actually take control of the east side of the map without being challenged. And that's the idea here. The reason why you come in a central location where I'm coming here is because of the terrain, and players sitting down on 1 and 2 line are going to have a hard time hitting you here. It's going to be extremely difficult. And if you're low enough, they won't be able to hit you at all. But the idea here is to cut off these guys that are going up the K line onto the east side of the map, trying to cross towards the city, and put some shots into them while they're crossing so that they're quite weak once they get to town, and will give us a significant advantage, right? Anyway, so we're trying to spot here. We're not spotting anything. There was a light tank that was spotting in the middle of the map, and we got spotted, but we didn't get shot at. But we have to be really careful. We have 3 RDs in play, right? So last thing we want to do is get annihilated early in the game. But we're going to push a little bit further. As you can see on my right hand side, there is a little bit of a slope, so the opposition cannot shoot me from 1 and 2 line, right? At the same time, I'm spotting all these guys, or whoever is crossing down the J or K lines, and I haven't really spotted anything, but I got spotted by a light tank here, and I got targeted for a minute, so I hid behind the building here because I was waiting for RD shell to come in any moment right now. And I'm expecting RD to be sitting at K1, that's the usual RD location, so that's why you saw me being in the position that I was, right there. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to peek further. Now, what this does is cuts away the city. I'm assuming there's nothing in the city. I'm assuming I didn't spot anything, so there's absolutely nothing in town. So I'm going to put a shell into this guy that I spotted, and I'm going to back out because, as you noticed there, I got fired on by pretty much everything that's camping at K2 and the RD. Of course, the RD. But we did spot the RD. I don't know why RD didn't move away from this position, because if most of his teammates are at 1 and 2 line, like, he was basically exposed or way overexposed, and he would get killed eventually by these guys that are coming out of town. And here's the second RD, another smart one. Look at that. So we're going to put a shell into him, and he's going to get taken out in a split moment. Now, what's the next step? So this is the pickle right here, because you're going to have to try to spot whoever is at 2 line for the most part. I didn't expect anyone at 3 line, but there is the light tank, and he's got good camo. That's why he wasn't spotted until this point right now. So the key thing here is to get him out of the game. If we can get him out of the game, then the opposition will lose their eyes. And once they lose their eyes, they'll have literally nobody being able to spot me here where I am at the moment. Unfortunately, I got spotted, so we're going to have to back off behind the building right there. I actually got lucky that I didn't get shot, because usually shots come in from here. I was ready to take a hit over there, but luckily I didn't. So we're going to move up a little bit further. Now, I have really decent view range in this tank, so I'm not really scared. But the same type of play would apply in a light tank, to be honest, guys. As you notice here, I'm unspotted, so we're going to put a shell into this guy. And now we're going to get ourselves into the position that I was talking about. Now we're going to get ourselves into the position where we can provide spots to our friendlies. Especially with 3 RDs in play, this is going to be a feast. Now, I don't have to be firing my gun over here, because I'm really in a very dangerous position, and I'm probably the only one spotted, so pretty much everything or every gun on the opposition team will be targeting me, including the artillery. Remember that. Right there. Just when I speak of artillery, the shot comes in. Anyway, we're just going to hang around this area here. We're not looking to shoot at this point in time. I'm not looking to use my gun, although I'm itching. I have an itchy finger, guys. I really like to shoot. I really get that damage. That raw damage is beautiful, right? That's what you want. You want that raw damage, right? In some situations, unfortunately, it's not the case. In some situations, you have to play a different role. You have to adapt in order to win a game. So, depends what's important to you. If shooting and getting ridiculous amount of damage is important to you, sit in the back and snipe. But if you want to win a game, and if your team is not pushing up, spotting, trying to win a game, your role is to be that pesky spotter, that thorn in the opposition side that they're trying to shut down. There goes Artie again, trying to take me out of the game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to play that role. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to poke our head, and we're going to try to spot and take some cheeky shots here and there, like we did over here. As you notice, my spotting counter is already at over 5,000 damage. Now it moved up over 6,000 damage. This is going to be a ridiculous spotting damage game. Anyway, we're going to move up here. Now, unfortunately, that shit barn puts a shell into us, but interestingly enough, none of my friendlies actually fired on him, which is quite interesting. He was in quite an exposed position, and we have how many? 4 tanks at J5, J6. There goes Artie again, tries to beat the crap out of me. I'm just playing the light tank role right now. I'm just driving around, not even stopping, because Artie's just going to demolish me. And there's the E3. And everyone's trying to fire at me. E3 Scapola, it's not going to work. I just don't have enough penetration to go through it, so we're gonna have to load the heat rounds. But once we load the heat rounds, we see the shit barn, so we're gonna put a shell into him. At the same time, Artie's just trying to shit on me. Artie's just trying to kill me. His main goal in this game is nothing but trying to kill me. And he's doing the right thing. I'm the spotter, right? I'm the one furthest up spotting his entire team. So it is correct of him to try to shit on me and get me out of the game. I don't blame him for that. Actually, it's a really good game. I would say GG, Mr. Artie Man. You really tried to kill me. Unfortunately, you did not succeed. Many times I end up on the wrong side of the stick. So this time, ooh, I got hit pretty hard over here. And we're gonna repair that, of course. But we're gonna push hard because first ones to the damage. We want to get as much damage out of this game as possible. We still have HP to give. Unfortunately, that was really unlucky. Shit barn hits us in the side, breaks our armor rack yet again, and now we're just gonna have to have a very extremely long reload. So we're gonna have to play it a little bit smarter. But it is what it is. We should be able to put a couple more shells into these guys because we're first to the closeout, or one of the first ones to the closeout. So we're gonna try to take this guy out of the game, and we do. And now there's only a couple guys left, so we're gonna try to get to that and get some final kills over there. But look at my numbers at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous. And games like that will be the ones that bring your mark up really, really fast. I'm currently sitting at 7,000 assisted damage, 2.5k raw damage. I know it's not a high number, but combined, I'm sitting at 9.5k damage. 9.5 thousand damage, which is absolutely ridiculous. Well, it's a little bit higher because my actual damage was almost 3k. If we could have had another shot of damage at the end of the game, we would have had 10k combined damage. We're, what, 150 short of 10k combined? Absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, guys, that's how I play this map. I hope you utilize my strategy. It is worth it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for now. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, checking out.